What's going on, guys? Welcome back. UFC 200 recap. And I actually disabled the ratings on this video, and I briefly want to tell you why. I bust my ass to put these videos up right after the event with a well-thought-out, logical recap of the fight. And yet they get the most dislikes because I don't want to give you the option to just hit the dislike button and go on to someone else's channel to do it. I want to know what the thought process was some of you. Do you really see a 4 to 5 minute video that says recap in the title and think that it literally is the full UFC 200 pay-per-view? And then you get salty with me that it's not because I wouldn't put copyrighted content up on my channel to jeopardize what I've worked so hard to build, all the fighters that I've interviewed, the presidents of organizations. One of my very good friends is a UFC fighter himself. We talk MMA all the time, and I'm just going to throw all that away because you don't want to pay $45, $50, $60 or go out to a local bar to watch an event. I'd rather have my channel get removed so that you can see a couple fights for free. Makes no sense to me, so you let me know why that is, and obviously now I want to get into the fights. So first fight, Travis Browne, Cain Velasquez. This is one that really surprised me. I talked about Cain Velasquez's injuries, and obviously Travis Browne was not prepared for the amount of pressure that Cain Velasquez put on him. Looked completely healthy, some new tools in the arsenal. Saw a wheel kick from Cain Velasquez, and he really looked like the old form dominant Cain Velasquez that we've seen. Haven't seen that fighter in a very long time, like we talked about, really only the third time in 2 years. But if this is the Cain Velasquez that's back in here to stay, he's going to be a force in this division for quite a while. In the second match, we saw Jose Aldo and Frankie Edgar, and Aldo actually came out very slow in this fight, but really put in one of his best performances. He kept Edgar's offense at bay, really neutralized the offensive attack, and actually put a lot of damage on Frankie Edgar, a lot of cuts, a little bit of a swollen eye for Edgar by the time the fight was over. Both of them, though, kept an amazing pace for all 5 rounds. As a side note, Frank Edgar, 6 hours of UFC competition during this event, but Aldo did come out victorious unanimously and now holds the interim belt. In what would have been the main event, Anderson Silva comes in, 48-hour notice to take the place of John Jones against Daniel Cormier. And Cormier held Anderson on the mount most of this fight, but wasn't really able to land any devastating shots. In the second round, Cormier came out, kind of smiled, and seemed like he was going to be willing to stand in exchange, but ultimately slammed Anderson back, got in the mount, and then obviously when they stood up, you could see that DC was fresher and stronger, but Anderson was still very game. In the third round, he had a quick fury to start. There was actually a moment where the crowd started chanting, "Stand him up," and when they did that, Silva had one last chance. He ended the fight actually in a pretty good fury, including a brutal liver kick, but ultimately the takedowns were just too much. I think the 48-hour notice was a little bit too much as well, though much respect and credit to Silva for taking the fight, and Daniel Cormier did get the win. So with Mark Hunt, Brock Lesnar, both men very cautious, respectful to power in the beginning. Brock, interestingly enough, started with some leg kicks, and then obviously just started selling out on takedowns. I think Lesnar's strength really showed in this fight. He was able to dump Mark Hunt just about every time, all but one time really. He wanted to get him down on the ground and start to pound away. Lesnar really maybe only had one scary time in the fight, if you will. In the middle of the second, he seemed super labored, actually put hands up on his face, wiped down, took a deep breath, and Mark Hunt really remained calm during this entire fight. At the end, I guess you could question that there should have been a stoppage. You know, Mark Hunt was really not defending himself, taking a lot of damage to the side of his face. I mean, it looked like his whole face had swollen up by the time they read the decision. And obviously, you know, Brock won this fight just about in every single way possible. Looked very good doing it, especially after the 5-year layoff. With Miesha Tate and Amanda Nunes, you know, Tate came out very confident, looked very fresh, very good, aggressive, and then just got to a point where she couldn't respond to the hits that Nunes was giving her. Ultimately took a lot of unanswered punches to the face, went down to try to shoot for a takedown in desperation, but ultimately got stuck on the ground, and then eventually just got choked out after taking a lot of damage. Her face was very cut up, and obviously I didn't think it would go that way, but Nunes wins. Love to know what you guys think about this event. Appreciate you checking it out. Back in the week with more commentary.